Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Now I'm here to answer any questions you children may have about the monorail.
Me! Can it outrun the Flash?
You bet.
Can Superman outrun the Flash?
Sure, why not?
It is the Al Travis Show, and we're love to have our next guest on for Monday. He wrote the book, The Leftover Soul. I do too remember how we found each other. He wrote The Leftover Soul. His name is John Knaus. John, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Al. Glad to be back with you.
Yeah, I'd love to have, if I can relate the story. So maybe, when did you write the book? A year ago? A little over a year ago? Maybe two? Time flies.
Yeah, came out in April of 24.
All right. So book comes out. Nice guy at your office, your work. You were talking with him about, getting it out there and letting people know. He said, have you ever tried the Al Travis Show? And somehow he got you and me together and fell in love with the book, fell in love with you. And we've been having you on and off for pretty regular, ever since April of last year, right?
Yep. Recurring.
Yeah. What's interesting about the book, I want people to grab a copy of The Leftover Soul. Amazon about the only place to get it? You don't have your own website, do you? I don't remember.
No, it's exclusively on Amazon.
Okay. It's called Pondering Life in Modern America by John Knaus. And the interesting thing, I liken it to The Christmas Story. My favorite movie of all time, by the way. It's just written in that, here's how it was back in my day kind of a writing, and it's fantastic, John. But basically, if I'm wrapping this up, you were basically raised a Democrat, right? And that's your household. And you were pretty good with that until about how long ago? When did things start feeling uneasy for John in his Democrat life?
Well, Al, just to give your audience some backstory, my old career path was Dairy Queen, and I ran a Dairy Queen store in St. Paul. And back in about 2005, 2006, and I was knocking that out of the park. The community loved me. It was going great. But I noticed we were getting, this sort of pro-criminal, anti-police narrative. It was very subtle back in the day, but it was like whenever there was a confrontation between police and criminals, well, you don't want to hurt the criminals' feelings. You don't want to make a judgment call based on their ethnicity. That's profiling. This is wrong. And when you send that message to young folks and criminals or whatever, you're going to get more crime because they're saying, hey, this is glamorous. It's okay. And of course, I got robbed twice in 3 weeks, once at gunpoint. And I kind of felt that it was the talking heads in the DFL and the news media, all this, wonderful, hey, anything goes because of your ethnicity and culture or identity, which was just starting back then. And I said, that's not a good narrative to have. And they said, well, maybe I should have checked things out better before I came to Minnesota.
Wow.
Like the secretary or something.
Yeah, call up and see how it is. Still. Let me ask you this, though. I mean, okay, so you're a lifelong Democrat, you're doing a thing. You don't end up being on the other side, right? Do you feel like you're just kind of wandering in between? You can't be embracing all the Republicans' ideals just because you got robbed a couple times. Am I wrong, or where do you sit today, John?
I still honestly believe that, people used to say there's not a dime's worth of difference between the parties. That was one of those old lines I used to hear. Yep. And by God, I wish it were true because it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be like now if you want public safety, you have to choose one party. The other party is totally against it. Border security, one party's for it, one party's against it. Yeah. But it's... I find that I can talk to the most hardcore Democrats if I talk to them in person and I say, hey, this issue I know you're passionate about, but does it cross the line here?
Yeah.
And when I can talk to them in person, it's always a yes. Hey, we find common ground. We find common agreement. But when you go through like social media and things like that, and try to make a response to a topic or ask a question, you just get your teeth bashed in and and I think, thinking back to the book, I love my chapter 3 in there, which is "Where Have You Gone, Fred and Ethel?"
Yeah.
And it was about that chapter was about how the neighbors don't have coffee anymore or
Yeah.
play bridge. And back in the day when you had neighbors like Fred and Ethel and you got together and you discussed things, that was the way you learned things. You learned things
Yeah.
about political topics. You could talk about them civilized and
Yeah.
rationally, and you could educate yourself, which was so incredibly helpful. And I think part of the problem is now we have this divide because we don't have those outlets. People
Yeah.
are in a vacuum, and you try to go on social media and say, "Hey, I want a balanced budget." You get your teeth kicked in.
Yeah, and it has gotten worse since you say 2005. 20 years later, it's almost unrecognizable, but I think you're on a roll here. Let me throw this out to you, because the idea that if you talk to them in person, someone with a hard left or right bend, you can find common ground. It is this pack mentality I think we're into now, where online I can call you all kinds of crazy names and no one can hurt me because I'm anonymous. It gives you a lot more what do I want to call it, courage, because you're online and that sort of thing. I want to throw out two things just real quick if I can, because while you're talking, I thought about it. I got a very cool email. I'm just going to, he didn't say I could use his name, so I'll just go with Sean in Rochester. We got done doing a bit on the show on Friday, and Sean out of Rochester sends me a very nice email. Didn't agree with with the guest that was on. He had a different agreement. Had a nice argument about it. What I would have done, yada yada. Very nice. And then he actually put down that he appreciated, at least on the program so far. And now we've only been in Rochester for a couple of weeks. That he has hung in there long enough to listen to realize that we have all sides on, and he appreciates that they can come on and be treated with respect. Sean, I appreciate your email. I just want to throw that out there because I think he's getting it. It was, if you listen to the show for 2 weeks, you'll see what we're doing. I want all sides to be on the program, and I think if you listen to this program for 2 weeks, this will tie this together. Like John says, it's a different conversation when it's one-on-one. Now we have radio audience listening, obviously. It's different than online. Here's what I share with you, John. And this has happened to me twice. I've been doing this sort of stuff for 30 years, not all on radio, some cable, that sort of thing. I don't think I hide anything as far as who I am and where I stand. And I think if you listen to the show, you'll find out I'm a bit of a conservative knucklehead. Got no problem with that. But I got through 60 years. I have some of my best friends are flipping lips. God love them. I like them as people. We just vote different. But since the orange man got reelected, I've had two friends go out of their way to say some pretty nasty things online. And I saw them. I felt compelled because we've been friends for years. I said, hey, you may want to pull back on this. Not everyone is Hitler. I love when someone throws a Hitler comment out. It means I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to tell you how bad you are, and the conversation is over. And I've done that now 2 times, and the world turned. These people are off the charts mad because of the orange guy. You're a lifelong Democrat. Do you honestly believe, serious, America to me is stronger than any president, any 4 years of a president. He was president before and the world didn't go to heck in a handbasket. He's president again. Do Democrats really believe this is the end of times, or is it just rhetoric to get people ticked off?
Al, I'm afraid some people actually believe it, because I've had friends in my life that, since the orange man's been reelected, we'll have a lunch or whatever, and which is rare, but like one friend of mine, he thinks it's perfectly good to vandalize people's cars or to shoot up a dealership or whatever. And it's like, I have trouble even saying that. And it's like, I'm a public safety guy. I got robbed twice. I could be dead right now. This could be dead airway. That book could not exist. I got lucky. I was fortunate. But how many people, because we advocate, that crime is okay, we don't want to hurt a criminal's feelings, we don't want to judge based on ethnicity, and it's not a judgment based on ethnicity. People turn the table. They say, I'm mad at the criminal. That guy committed a crime. I don't like him. Okay. Well, you don't like him because he's color X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
No, it's not because he's color X, Y, or Z. It's because he committed a crime. You know, if he stops over at my house with a case of beer and a Big Mac and wants to take me to a movie, the conversation is going to be different. I'm going to like him. He's going to be my friend. But if he pulls a gun on me, I'm not going to be
no longer friends.
Parade. Yeah,
that is so funny. And we've gotten to this point. John, you've raised kids. I can't imagine the full-grown adult how he was raised when he thought that if I disagree with your politics, I can scratch up your car or I can throw a bomb into a dealership. You know what I'm saying? When was that ever the right answer? Maybe I missed it teaching my children. Did I miss a lesson that I threw out there? Well, if you get really mad, then it's okay. Did I miss that?
Yeah, to me, it's never been the right answer because
it's not a chapter in your book because I read the book and I know that wasn't one of your chapters. I got to go to break. I bring up you raise your you have a wedding coming up, and I'd actually love to talk to you about your wedding. Can we do that? Your wedding.
We'll get on the other side. Yep.
We'll do it on the other side of that. That's right. He wrote the book, The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America, as John Knaus, Knauss. Go to Amazon and take a look at it. It is a fantastic read. Like I say, I liken it to The Christmas Story. It's what about way back when, where things were better back then, what happened to them, and it's all about modern times. And he feels lost now because the Democratic Party kind of picked up and left him. We'll talk more with John Knaus after this on The Al Travis Show.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
And we've got him. Love having him on. Great friend of the show, John Knaus. He wrote the book, The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America. You will love this book. Pick it up at Amazon. John, as much as we always talk politics, and I like it. I love your take on it. Welcome to the misfits of politics, the guys in the middle. And I say that. I feel I'm in the middle because I try very hard to get all sides on. I've leaned way right, but again, some of my best friends are way lefties, and that's fine by me. I think it's a respect thing. I think you just have to respect the other person. I can't respect you if you point a gun at me. I can't respect you if you want to vandalize my property. But if we just disagree on a policy, yeah, okay, let's go golf. I got no more problem than that. Fair enough.
Now, in the middle, there's about 4 of us.
Well, you see, and I don't know, we have this group comes on majority in the middle. I think there are many more of us. Now, you tell me how wrong I am here. The problem is we don't feel it. You can find a left-leaning television show. You can find a right-wing television newscast, and they echo chamber each other. It's just the same thing over and over again. You don't hear somebody in the middle say, "Nah, it's all right. I don't mind you. You're a good guy." And that power in the middle, and I think there are more of us that would like it that way. That power isn't there until someone gives it a voice. That's why I like this book, The Leftover Soul. It gives a voice, and that's why when I read it, John, I'm like, I got to get the guy on the show. It just made me feel good reading it. It's like, I'm not the only knucklehead out there. I can have my beliefs. You can have yours. Let's go, like you say, have a cigar and have a good time. Now, we don't always talk politics, but I want to say your daughter's getting married in a month, right?
Oh, yeah. It's.
I want you to write a book on it for the rest of us. That's got to be the scariest thing, isn't it?
It is. It's like I said, one thing I've been trying to do is patent the 28-hour day, because it's just there's so many things to do between work and the wedding and picking up the kids, and the dog gets into something, and it's
get tuxes fitted and refitted and all that. But things like, I presume when you have an off minute, you're thinking a little bit, what is that speech going to be that you're going to give? Are you going to do one of them weird dances with your daughter that make everybody jump out of their seat and laugh? What do you got planned? Can you tell us?
I've really got to focus on the speech. I haven't given it much thought because it's just, I've been, if your regular audience realizes I've been absent for a little bit from your show, and it's just because there's so much been going on. But it's like, okay, wow, for the wedding, it's crunch time. So I better come up with a good speech. And I think I'm probably in a better position now because I've gotten a little rest and a little
good.
It's fun, but I'm surrounded by good people, and it's like if you've got good people in your life, and even if you disagree on things, if you can look them in the eye and hand them a beer and give them a hug and tell them you love them, that makes all the difference in the world. But like I said, we're lacking that. And
how does, if I can do it just last 90 seconds, how does the new guy and his family fit in yours? Have you met them? Do you get concerned that they might be those folks that'll just hate you for playing the middle game card and not do you know even that way how they worked? Have you met them?
I've met them. I haven't met all the brothers in that, but I met the mom and dad a couple of times. The guy is great. We go actually to the movies every Tuesday night, so I'll usually call them and say $5 tickets, the cheaper tickets, and that, and we get together, and they love to hang out with my Wednesday night buddy and have a beer. So
it fits. That's good because when they're doing that, bringing other families in. If you don't get along, it's just another pain in the butt. But if you can get along, okay, everything's great. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. John, I thank you for taking the time to be on the program with us, and I'm glad you're doing better. The book is The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America by John Knaus, Knauss. You know I love having you on the program, my friend. I thank you for being back. Hopefully we'll get you back in. You can tell us how the wedding went.
You bet. Anytime, Al.
All right, my friend. You have a good, safe day, and God bless.
Take care. God bless, and thanks for having me.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different.